to you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulations.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay. Coming to you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulations.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
Well, good morning. Welcome to the Detroit Cast, literally with Mike and Jay.
On Detroit Cast Day.
Yeah, well, very happy Detroit Cast Day to you, my friend.
Oh, you too.
Thank you. Appreciate that. How are you?
I'm well.
Yeah?
Yeah, this is an exciting day for all of us.
Oh, is it ever?
Got Kadog and E on the road as we speak.
Oh, man. Yeah, we'll check in with Son of a Bitch here in just a moment. But yeah, what an exciting day. As the Detroit Cast, it's officially at the time of recording 6/9, June 9th. And so that, as most listeners of this show know, is June 9th is now recognized as Detroit Cast Day in Houghton, Michigan, which is awesome.
69.
And so, well, the gentlemen are up there to pick up our key to the city.
I think it warrants mention of the small article in the Daily Mining Gazette.
Absolutely. People probably think we're joking when we say this.
No, this is happening.
This is actually happening. I'm kind of nervous today. I don't know why I'm not even there.
An exciting nervousness.
Yeah, it is. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what the Kadog and Big E will get into, be involved with. But as you mentioned, it got a little write-up in the local newspapers up north.
Yeah, Detroit Cast to get key to city.
That's the headline of the story, is it?
Yes. Houghton, Detroit-based podcast, the Detroit Cast with Mike and Jay. Ooh, that's a typo. Will receive the key to the city of Houghton 2 p.m. Thursday on the steps of the Houghton County Circuit Court building. Prior to the ceremony will be a public reception to start 11:45 at the Library Restaurant and Brew Pub. The Detroit Cast is being honored for their contributions to broadcast journalism and efforts toward raising awareness of attractions in the Upper Peninsula.
Ouch. That I feel special. I gotta be honest.
Got the keys to the city.
Oh boy,
It's quite an honor.
it is.
Got the keys to the city.
I can't help but feel that somewhere down the line, someone could get in some sort of trouble for this. I just pray that doesn't happen.
You mean an unknowing city official or something that, oh, yeah, we'll check out the show. And then,
Yeah,
fuck you!
They listen to 5 minutes of the madness that is this show, and then, I don't know.
And someone gets scolded.
Yeah, heads roll, perhaps.
Someone gets a...
No. We don't want to shame anybody. We don't want to put anybody on the spot. If it looks funny, we go over and say,
Should we call Kadog and Biggie, who have been driving they've been up since yesterday's show? Well, E has anyways, as far as I know.
Oh, yeah.
Which means he'll get slap happy and talky. You know how he gets when he's hungover or mildly drunk.
Yes.
Which so I fear I apologize in advance to anybody up north that's meeting him for the first time.
This could be such a train wreck. I mean, anything could happen.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Kadog there, but he doesn't have especially you there to rein him in or keep him in check.
Kadog won't keep him reined in.
No,
Kadog will properly document it, I think.
I hope so. Kadog is one that just kind of minds himself. He's responsible for his own self, maybe because he and E are together and he knows there's more on the line, maybe he'll be more accountable.
So.
But
no, I don't think so.
I think Kadog is just one of those individuals that's like, I handle my shit my way and I'm responsible and that's the way it is. And however Big E handles himself is how he handles. That's on him. And you can't fault him with that line of thinking. You know, it's fair to do that, but you know, you feel at least a more of a responsibility to like crack the whip on him when we're out in public. And
it's just flat out embarrassment. That's why.
Yeah. Should we dial them up and see how their trek is going? I believe they're actually in the UP now.
You better check yourself.
Hello?
Big E.
What's up?
Son of a bitch, how are you?
Not bad. How about you?
Yeah, are you tired or are you dialed in?
Oh, actually.
You're what?
You there? God damn it.
E?
Well, when you're as high as Lake Gitchagumi, they're on the banks thereof. Can't imagine the cell service is maybe as
stellar as it would be elsewhere.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can call him from my phone.
It's probably his fault, actually. Cell service is probably fine.
Let's see.
Dude, sorry.
Dude, sorry about that. That one's on me. I don't know, man. My thing hit the thing and then I don't know what happened.
You have reached the voicemail box of...
Come on, Big E. Is that all you got?
Son of a bitch. He's already failing.
I know. Does that shock anyone?
He's not even there, and he's already failing.
He's probably still blathering on is what's going on. He doesn't realize that he's been disconnected in like 30 minutes from now.
I can't take a second call now.
You still there, dude? Dude? You guys there? Anyway, maybe he'll call back. I don't know. Last we knew they were
charging hard up Route 2 or some shit.
Yeah, they
were a
couple
hours into the UP at that point.
Yeah.
If anyone hasn't looked at a map of Michigan in a while, you ought to take a gander at where exactly Houghton is. I know people are, dude, I know where Houghton is, Michigan Tech, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if you appreciate how close to Duluth this is.
Yeah, just how far away this
Thunder Bay this is. Yeah, I mean you're pretty much due north of Iron Mountain quite a bit.
Wow.
Literally the banks of Old Gitchagumi.
Yes. Song we're all familiar with.
You're beyond Marquette. I mean, it looks like, I don't know, an hour from Marquette. Shit, man.
Yeah, that's as north as you can get in Michigan, right?
You're south of Copper Harbor, but
close.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Should I try him one more time? Just if he doesn't answer, maybe we can try him later. I don't know if it's a phone reception thing.
You have reached the voicemail box of 24.
I should give his number out, but I won't do that to him.
He's done it. It's on his Facebook page if anyone needs it.
Anyway, if anyone was wondering if this was going on, yes, it is, and they're on their way there. So hopefully we'll hear from E. Maybe we can cut into the show if he calls. We can take his call and see how their trek is going. But anyway, welcome to the show, everybody, and we'll have updates certainly next week when we're back. You know, this is our last show for the week as the guys are will be making their way back. So we'll get hopefully we'll be able to show off a fancy new key.
Hell
engraved. Yeah. We'll see how many things on the items on the checklist were met.
Our demands.
Our demands.
Not a checklist. Our demands.
Demands, yes.
Well, they might walk. That's the thing. They were ordered to walk if these demands are not met.
I know they were.
So
do you imagine they storm out of Houghton because one of the ridiculous things on our demands list wasn't met?
The biggest
I could see Kadog doing that, by the way, and then coming back and going, I had marching orders.
It was kind of bullshit. Yeah, they tried to give me a KW1, and I remember Jay saying, don't take a KW1 or a SC1. Those are just common keys you can get at any hardware store.
The guy presenting it was not wearing white gloves, and so I mean, if I'm going by the letter of the law of my marching orders, we were told to walk, and so we did. Okay, Kadog.
Drove 10 hours home.
Came home. Anyway, so we'll get updates, but I'm so excited to see how this day goes. This is going to be excellent.
Yeah.
Remember we were talking about Tommy the chimpanzee?
I do. Speaking of the UP,
yeah,
got a movie star chimp loose in the UP.
Yeah,
that's what happened, dude.
Dude,
he just hit the chimp.
Maybe he's like 40 years old.
Wow, is that?
Hold, please.
Son of a bitch.
Hey, I'm on Kadog's phone because my phone has better service than mine.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right. How you doing? Are you getting bad reception all the way up there?
His phone's doing good, so I guess Verizon is better than Sprint in this test.
All right, well,
that we're doing right now.
Let's quickly get some information out of you. Are you there yet?
We are about 75 miles away from Hohen right now.
So what are you, around Marquette or something?
We're past Marquette.
Have you passed Ishpeming?
Ishpeming?
Yes, we did.
That's where my old science teacher is from. Can you stop in and see if he's there? He's the guy that made us write down every single day on every paper we ever turned in his definition of science, which I still remember to this day from 7th grade.
There you go.
Science is the knowledge or the pursuit of knowledge of things as they are and why they act as they do. Had to be written like your name on every paper you did. He was from Ishpeming.
Well, I think it worked.
It did. I remember it.
We're past that, unfortunately, and I don't know how I would have found him, but...
So how's the ride been?
Pretty good.
You having fun with Kadog?
Kadog took the lead from his house because we had to go to his other house to get his suit, which he's going to wear today.
Kadog. Of course, Kadog's wearing a suit.
Of course, it was at his other house.
A full suit.
Right, of course.
I love Kadog. Absolutely love him.
Well, and by the way, I was starting to tell you guys this off the air, but I got to see the hammock, as it were.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the hammock is nice, but it doesn't fit in the room. So like the one door just has to be open all the time. Like
what?
I took video of it, and I'm gonna try to put a YouTube video together of the kind of the trip up. So
nice.
We'll be able to see it.
Any lot lizards? Anything crazy like that?
No, Kadog drove into West Branch on 75, and I took over from West Branch. And from West Branch until the bridge, I didn't see another car coming our direction. Like, there was a few going southbound, but not one car until the bridge. That's about an hour and 40 minutes worth of driving without seeing a car on my side of the road.
Wow. What are you driving? Incidentally, what are you driving?
What is this? Honda what?
All right, whatever.
Hyundai Sonata.
Okay.
Sonata.
Yeah, all right.
Were there any quarrels? Did you and Kadog come to have any disagreements? I mean, being pent up in a car for 9-10 hours together, I mean, that's bound to happen.
Yeah, what'd you get settled?
There was one initial bump in the road, I suppose, when I was like playing Pandora off the thing, and I said, "Do you have a preference?" And he said, "Anything but country." I was like, I mean, I listen to other stuff, but when I'm on road trips, like long driving trips, that's what I listen to is country. So there was that, I guess.
Yeah.
I've been finding out a lot about Kadog, about more stuff than I've known as usual. Of course, as you know with Kadog, you know, some of the stuff that is not given up. He doesn't give it up. But when you're in the car for hours and we're talking, you find stories about him that we don't know about.
Give us a quick fun fact about Kadog that we don't know.
Well, for one, he had a period in his life where he did not work for an entire year.
Okay. Was this an experiment of some sort?
It was intentional, no doubt.
At some point better or not, but there's that.
Did you ask him about his balls, the naming of his balls?
I did not ask him about the naming of his balls.
Ask him real quick.
He just laughed when I just said that out loud.
Ask him real quick. Confirm the names again.
Yeah, what are the names?
Confirm the names. What are they again? Buckminster and Chad. Yes, a hanging Chad.
Son of a bitch.
Put
Kadog joke.
Put Kadog on the phone really quick. He's got to tell you why it's called Buckminster.
Hold on 1 second. Let me go to speaker maybe. Here, I got it on speaker because he's driving.
Kadog, why are your nuts named that?
Okay, obviously, I think you touched on Chad was named after the whole hanging Chad debacle in the Florida election.
Right.
The Buckminster comes from Buckminster Fuller, who was the guy who kind of was the main contributor of the geodesic dome, which is a very interesting subject. Oh my gosh, definitely not something that our listeners, maybe like one or two, would care about, but definitely not Mike. But these geodesic domes, they're kind of colloquially known as buckyballs.
Huh.
So that's where that comes from.
Gotcha.
4 hour news.
Excellent.
So
So
also, here, 1 second. Also, I found out that Cadogue has on his absolute list is to sail one of the oceans on an old school sailing ship.
Of course it is. That it would be shocking to me if that wasn't on his bucket list.
like a pirate
I
ship?
agree. Like a pirate ship, would you say? Or well, how would you describe it?
Not like a pirate boat, like a ship that pirates would use, like a schooner.
Like a schooner, he said. Cadogue is very into tall ships. He has like a big book. What is it? A book on
All the tall ships.
he has a book on all the tall ships in existence today.
Nice.
Well, how are you guys feeling? Are you tired? Are you slap
actually
happy?
got some rest. How you feeling, Cadogue? He feels fine, but he got some rest. I have not slept since the afternoon, and I did I wouldn't say that's the hardest part of the drive, but the hardest part is just that, 4 in the morning shifts. I drove from 1 to about 6 in the morning, and I feel fine.
So
I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready to get this key.
You're going to have your game face on? You're going to be able to pull this
Yeah.
off? Okay.
Yeah, there's also talk, by the way, if we get there in time, of going to see a coal mine before the big reveal. So
Nice.
if we get there.
Well, very good, gentlemen.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No,
Okay,
go ahead,
I'll
go
end
ahead.
it there. I was just going to say, just like in San Francisco, I'm somebody who, when I go to places, I just won't sleep when I'm there, and I try to get as much in as I can. So see how much I can pack into 24 hours of Houghton. So
See if they'll let you sit in one of those mine cars and push you down the track.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know about pushing me down, but
Put a spelunker light on too.
Yeah,
That's
wear a
important.
yellow hat with a splunker light. And if you
yeah. Oh,
keep
thanks,
a,
Jay, for getting up. Oh, sorry.
go ahead, thank Jay for what?
For getting to our wave. We're going to make another wave when we get there too. So we'll try to make a few of these waves along the way too. So
Very good.
Okay, and keep your eyes peeled. If you see Tommy the chimpanzee running
yes.
around, Jay and I are we were just starting to talk about it when you
is
called
he
back.
out on the loose?
Yeah, you son of a bitch. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Tommy the
Oh, he's out
chimp.
but up here?
Yeah, in the UP.
Yeah, he's
He
running
escaped.
loose in the UP. So he's like 40
Okay.
years old.
So
Just
look for a 40-year-old chimp and just start yelling Tommy out. If I see any chimp, should I just start yelling Tommy out? Or
I think it's probably safe to say.
Yeah, if you see a chimp with some grays coming in,
Yeah.
safe to
Right.
say it's probably Tommy.
I'll just start yelling it out. Perfect.
Okay.
I actually hope I see a chimp now. They think I'm some weirdo. I just went, Tommy!
Well, now don't forget, what chimps do when they're afraid. They go for dick and balls.
Yeah, so
Straight
make sure
away.
you cover your dick and balls. You might lose a nose or an ear if you do that, but you'd rather lose a nose and an ear than a dick or a ball.
Agreed.
So, just be heads up, but that's their absolute go-to move is dick and balls immediately, rip it right off the body. So just so you're aware. Okay?
All right.
All right, you
Sounds
sons
good.
of bitches.
Have a good show, you guys. Without
careful,
me and
gents.
Cadogue there.
Oh yeah, we
We
will.
will.
All right. See you guys.
All right.
I guess I'm attracted to a dude.
Oh, good Lord.
Those two screaming up the freeway.
Oh my
toward Houghton.
God. Oh, what have we gotten ourselves into, Jay? Where are we?
Of course, Cadogue loves tall ships.
And of course he's wearing a suit and tie. I think this is more exciting for Cadogue than maybe even you.
I think you're right.
I think this is just like all the weird things we know about Cadogue that just kind of trickle out over time.
Yeah.
Whether it's he sleeps in a hammock or whatever it may be, whatever weird thing, he's a pilot. Whatever it is, just kind of he loves that of having that arsenal of things that no matter
Random
what,
things that he's
just
done.
random shit. And getting a key to the city is
There's
so
nothing more
Cadogue.
random.
It's so Cadogue.
Mhm.
I mean, more so than us. Like, yeah, we'll be the catalyst for this, but Cadogue's name is on a key to a city. That's
Not just any city, Mike.
yeah, it's the great city of Houghton.
You got it.
Houghton, Michigan. So anyway, we'll get updates from them as we go, and I'm very excited. But hopefully they took us seriously with the lookout for Tommy.
He's loose.
Damn it, we forgot to start our clock. I don't know where it is. I don't even know how to start it without Kadog or Retard here. So
I do.
Do you?
A second.
Okay. Tommy is, as I said, he's 40 years old. Did you know this son of a bitch Tommy was a movie star? Did we talk about that?
Yeah, wasn't he in the Matthew Broderick movie or something?
Yeah, why am I forgetting to remember that? Project X, which I don't think I saw. If I did, I was wee. But yeah, he was in the movie Project X, and he's also the subject of that documentary that's getting rave reviews. It's supposed to be, what were they comparing it to? The new Blackfish. Wasn't that the documentary Blackfish?
Yes.
Am I getting that right?
Yeah, Blackfish was the
orca.
killer whale.
Yeah, the SeaWorld special that killed the trainer, and they're comparing it to that movie. But yeah, he was in that movie Project X. He was in some other movies as well. Animal rights campaigners tracked him down more than 2 decades later. They've been looking for this dude. They found him caged in this little tiny jail cell.
Poor Tommy.
I know, alone at a used trailer lot in upstate New York with just a TV, and he was just watching old cartoons.
What?
Yeah.
Alone.
Yeah. He's just by himself watching cartoons for entertainment. Tommy's owner refused to transfer him to an animal sanctuary, prompting the Non-Human Rights Project, the NHRP, to launch a landmark lawsuit, which is the one we remember where they were trying to get human.
Yeah, tried to pronounce him a human.
Yeah. It was dismissed by but it made it up to the New York Supreme Court.
What was it? A non-human person?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Sweet.
They threw that out of court on procedural grounds. It was hailed as a symbolic victory for animal rights and formed the basis for this new documentary, which is going to debut on HBO, called Unlocking the Cage. Got a couple, an Oscar winner and an Oscar-nominated director doing this thing. Since filming Wrap, Tommy's former owner, Patrick Lavery, has refused to say where he is. Paperwork suggests the chimp was donated to the DeYoung Family Zoo in the Upper Peninsula in Michigan, which is why we're telling the boys to be on the lookout for him. The roadside attraction is owned by Bud DeYoung and his young partner, Carrie Kramer. But when Daily Mail Online visited just this week, there was no sign of Tommy, and neither DeYoung nor Kramer were prepared to answer any questions or talk about the chimp's well-being. And this is interesting because they're recognized. Chimps are officially endangered in the U.S. So if one goes missing, you can't just have one fall off the map. Like if one goes missing, you have to
report this.
You have to report this, especially if you think it's dead. What I can tell you is we will find them. Endangered species are not allowed to fall off the map. Patrick Lavery has previously defended his treatment of Tommy, insisting he lived in a spacious, heated compartment with jungle-themed decor. Sounds wonderful.
I'm sure he was fooled. Throw a few fake plants in there.
Yeah.
It's just like home that I've never known.
He's also had an outdoor space that exceeded federal and state standards. He's got color TV and cables, and he loves watching cartoons.
That son of a bitch.
The fact that he's watching cartoons, like that he knows that it's on and he's watching it, tells me right there that, okay, you can't just put him in a box. I'm sorry. If he's comprehending like Mickey Mouse and stuff,
yeah,
it says he's got more going on than an ant, you know?
Yeah, this is not going to end well. These guys they've not said where he is. Like Daily Mail, they just show up to visit Tommy, right? They're not at this roadside thing for any other reason. They go up there to report on Tommy, and these guys are just like, oh, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, he's not in his cage.
So they won't talk, but the other guy, the other owner from upstate New York, which they've got paperwork that says he was transferred officially here, and it's stamped and all that shit, notarized, whatever. But he says, I don't have a chimp. He was placed in an excellent facility. He's getting excellent care. He's doing very well, and he's not here. That's what the guy in New York said. I'm not going to reveal any information as they're just going to be hassled like everything else. I've heard rumors that they're trying to say that he's escaped and all this, but that's all lies. It's not true. It's false. It's another bunch of lies to create a bunch of more publicity. That's all it is. So he's sticking to his guns. But most people are saying, like, dude, if you knew, like, there's a lot of attention on Tommy right now. Like, where's Tommy, this chimp? If he was at this place up north and not missing, you would just go, yeah, you might not like his conditions, but there he is. He's watching Tom and Jerry.
Right.
You can
Thomas
see his
in jail.
beautiful decor in his place. You know, he's got plastic plants in there and shit.
No, he's fucked. Tommy's fucked.
Yeah, it's not good, man.
I fear.
Yeah, it's terrible news, sad news. You know, beloved son of a bitch. Oh man, imagine him just running in the wild. He would be thinking like, why isn't anyone coming by to give me my metal bowl of bananas and shit?
Yeah, to take a thing that's been in captivity that long and then just set him loose and
for 40 years,
the woods of the UP.
I wonder if someone broke him out. The Stanford rapist, boy, is that story not going away.
Brock Turner.
Yeah. He apparently got a couple months shaved off his sentence.
Off his 6-month sentence? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he repeatedly lied, I guess, to his probation officer. I think it sounds like he's still trying to justify somehow, like what went down. Like there was like trying to allude that there was some sort of consent and that a couple bicyclists just didn't come upon. Gross. Some dude banging what looked like a dead chick.
Didn't he change his story like halfway through the process? Like initially he
never
said anything about consent. And
yes.
Later on, he was all about it.
Which I think is such bullshit. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm too old. Do kids do that nowadays? Like get verbal consent from people? I know that's like a joke in articles and stuff that you need to get.
The nod is not enough.
Yeah. Well, the nod, I think the nod could be implied to be enough in some places. Wasn't that it in California that the nod could be considered consent? And that's why we were joking that some chicks
get the nod.
Head bobbing. You all saw it. I got the nod.
Head bobs into the edge of the toilet.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, he's trying to lean on that, like, oh yeah, it's crazy because this is in California too. So if he's claiming he got the nod, I don't know. He said he claimed to have been kissing the victim and speaking with her in the lead up to the attack. He also refused to admit that the victim was unconscious at the time, saying instead he asked if she wanted sexual interaction. Quote, sexual interaction, which sounds weird.
Excuse me, do you want sexual interaction at this point in time?
And she just went, yeah.
May I digitally penetrate you?
The probation report discloses that the Santa Clara district attorney intervened to point out the defendant was absolutely full of shit in his testimony to the officer, which was made about his conviction. Turner is currently incarcerated, by the way, in Elmwood Jail in Milpitas, California, where sources say he's being kept away from the general population due to the nature of his crime. Which I think it's one of those, it's some jail where you've got like 20 dudes and sleeping on cots together in a room. So they're like, yeah, we can't put him in there. In a statement, which was made to the probation officer, Turner claims to have been very drunk and says he got close with the victim at the party. We danced and kissed. Then I asked her if she wanted to go back to my room with me. She agreed, and we were walking back to my room. She slipped besides a wooden shed, and I got down on the ground with her, and we started kissing. In the statement made to police,
she slipped on the grease that was coming out of that dumpster.
Probably. So that's what he says to his probation officer after the conviction. But to the police, he claimed to have met the victim outside and later told officers, I wouldn't recognize her if I saw her right now.
He needs to be better trained.
He claimed the victim had made a positive response when he brought up the idea of sexual interaction. I idiotically rationalized that since we had been making out when each of us fell to the ground, that it would be a good idea to take things a step further since we were just in the heat of the moment in that location. I pull away from kissing her and I whisper in her ear.
Oh, no. Oh, no. This is going to be a good line. Come on. What do we got?
This is right up there with all the candy you need is right here. Okay. This is what he claims he whispered in her ear. Do you want me to finger you? No! No! Who would say yes to that?
No, that's...
The fingering move is a technique widely used that you don't ask about the finger. You just know. It's one of those in the moment, you know.
Just start stroking some lab. And
yes, you just kind of work your way down. And if you get the hand slap, you know it's not okay. All right. But you don't ever, under any circumstance, go to a girl. Do you want me to finger you? Never. That's never, ever been acceptable in the history of time. She responded, yeah, again, to that inquiry. So I decided to take her underwear off. I thought she was satisfied with the sexual interaction that had taken place based on her moaning and the way she held on to me with the arms on my back. Witness statement said that's just bullshit. And of course, we're talking about the Swedish cyclists who came upon the scene.
You seen this guy, by the way? Oh, does he look Swedish?
Yeah, they both. The one with the blonde hair and blue eyes. Yeah, they flatly contradicted his account. Both telling the police and the court that the victim was absolutely motionless at the time, which is where it's like, dude, no, you lose here. Sorry. Speaking about the police interview that followed the incident, Turner said he spent most of it thinking that he could never rape somebody. All I could think during that interview was that I never raped someone. I would never even think of doing that. Turner shakes uncontrollably. According to him, I shake uncontrollably from the moment from the amount of I torture myself over the incident. My shell and core as a person is forever broken from this. I'm a changed person. I've lost 2 jobs solely based on the reporting of this case. I wish I was never good at swimming or had the opportunity to attend Stanford, so maybe newspapers wouldn't want to write stories about me. Begging to be put on probation rather than sent to jail, Turner added, if I were to be placed on probation, I can positively say without a single shred of doubt in my mind that I would never have any problem with law enforcement. Before this happened, I never had any trouble with law enforcement, and I plan on maintaining that. I've been shattered by the party culture and risk-taking behavior that I briefly experienced in my 4 months at school. I've lost my ability to swim in the Olympics. I've lost my ability to obtain a Stanford degree. I've lost employment opportunities, my reputation, and most of all, my life. These things force me to never want to put myself in a position where I have to sacrifice everything. I would make it my life's mission to show everyone that I can contribute and be a positive influence on society. Blah, 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 blah.
Certainly a cautionary tale, man, to all those young college goers.
Certainly is, but there's one thing that is glaringly missing from this statement, which is any remorse at all for the victim. I mean, it's like, dude, yeah, you put yourself in a position like this, and to come back now and be like, I'll never get the chance to graduate from Stanford. I'll never get the chance. I've lost 2 jobs already. It's me. Look at all the things that are happening to me because of this. I'll make sure this never happens again. It's like, dude,
you fucked up, dude.
Yeah, this is a really big deal. And if it was the exact opposite, you could at least feel a little for him where if he was going, oh my God, I can't believe I did this to another human being. I feel like I'll never be the same person again. I don't. You know, it's like, and then get into the cautionary tale of the party culture that I was in and alcohol and what it did, because I would never dream of doing something like this to another person on the planet. And here I've committed this rape. Like at that point, you could go, okay, at least he seems remorseful. Right. At least he seems to have learned something. Owning it. He's owning it like a man. He's going to do his time. And, you know, and then I don't know what you do. Go on the circuit speaking about to kids about the dangers, as you know. But
get in line, man.
Exactly, right. There's enough of those people out there. Nobody listens to them for the most part anyways. There's very few people that get through to anybody in those scenarios. But yeah, it's a tragic thing. And, you know, I know we've joked, I mean, not joked about it, but we've joked about this sort of subject before. But I think it's I want to be clear about that there is certainly nothing funny about the rape of this girl. You know, I think that goes without saying that it's an awful story, an awful situation for everybody involved. And, you know, the other almost victim in this is that 20-year-old friend who's just getting murdered.
Oh, yeah. The one who wrote the character statement.
Yes. She is just getting hammered by people, which is weird. This girl didn't rape anyone.
Well, it's funny, the juxtaposition against her statement and the victim's statement. Like that's another piece. We haven't talked about at length. The victim statement is too long to read. I mean, it would take you a half hour to read it. I think the CNN anchor actually did that. Mm-hmm. And because of that, this case has really, really gotten a ton of attention. I think mostly because of the victim statement.
Yeah.
Because it's so in depth, so dramatic, so personal.
Yeah.
And then you compare that to this.
Yeah. What
this
she was
dumb chick who's writing in to help her friend Brock.
And I think it's only fair that you put it in full context of the story. Like if you're before the trial is concluded, before the witness statement is given, a judge reaches out to some people that are like, can we get a character statement? basically, I mean, which is kind of dumb anyways.
Very likely his attorney who did that.
Okay.
I said, Brock, who can write a good statement for you?
Yeah.
Oh,
which is kind of dumb, by the way. I mean, who couldn't find 4 people in their lives to go, yeah, great guy, stand up dude. Like, I don't know what the point is. It's kind of like that thing where you need references for jobs. And it's like, I mean, I've had dude, if someone calls you, Eric's asked, it's like, what am I going to do? Tell them, I mean, you just, it's like, yes, I've agreed to be this asshole for you. And I'll say nice things about you. But either way, it's before this, especially this victim statement comes out and the whole world is paying attention.
Oh, she could not appreciate in the slightest what this could become as she's writing it.
No. And here she is on the road trying to be this touring musician. She's in like a 3-person band with her sisters. And she just happens to have like grown up with this kid. And so she makes this statement, which seems really callous and uncaring about the victim and all that shit. And then the world comes down on her. They've lost 4 gigs. She's on a national tour down in Florida.
Yeah.
3 gigs canceled there. Another gig in Ohio, I think, was blown out.
She's accepting the rape culture.
Yes. Or making excuses for it, which I think I was guilty of yesterday, was not getting my point across because I was trying to put myself in her position of doing this. Like, and it certainly wasn't to excuse the behavior. I think her point was, well, I'll read you her point because she sent a Facebook post out yesterday. And I think this is what I was picking up from her story in that. And I don't think I explained it well. I don't think she explained it well, but I kind of got the overall message she was trying to say about the dangers of alcohol and how that's just kind of overlooked in society. Like, but dear everyone, this is from Leslie Rasmussen, a friend of Brock Turner's. 2 months ago, I was asked to write a character statement for use in the sentencing phase of his trial per the request of the court. I was asked to write the statement in an effort to shed light on his character as I knew it to be during my childhood, adolescence, and young adulthood. I felt confident in my ability to share my opinion of him and how I knew him. I also felt compelled to share my deep concern over the misuse of alcohol that was a well-established contributor in this case. Beyond sharing my personal experience with Brock, I made an appeal to the judge to consider the effect that alcohol played in this tragedy. I understand that this appeal has now provided an opportunity for people to misconstrue my ideas into a distortion that suggests I sympathize with sex offenses and those who commit them, or that I blame the victim involved. Nothing could be further from the truth, and I apologize for anything my statement has done to suggest that I don't feel enormous sympathy for the victim and her suffering. Perhaps I should have included in my statement the following ideas that explain my perspectives. As a young female musician who has spent years performing as a drummer in live music venues, clubs, and bars with my 2 sisters, I have had the unique opportunity to observe over 10 years of public American drinking culture and the problems that invariably arise from alcohol misuse. I have watched friends, acquaintances, and complete strangers transform before my eyes over the course of sometimes very short periods of time into people I could barely recognize as a result of alcohol overconsumption. I am currently 20 years old. I have made these observations through sober eyes. So she doesn't drink at all. I have grown up and currently reside in a university town that is affected every year by the tragic consequences resulting from undergrads drinking, students' excessive enthusiasm for binge drinking. Student arrests, violence, injuries, sex assaults occur with some regularity, and I've often wondered why this culture continues to thrive seemingly unquestioned and unchecked. There's nothing more sad than the unnecessary, destructive misuse, abuse of alcohol and drugs that this plays in people's lives. I don't think in my effort to point this out in confidence to a judge while commenting on Brock Turner's character as the sober person I knew him to be was an irresponsible or reckless decision. Unfortunately, due to the overzealous nature of social media and the lack of confidence and privacy in which my letter to the judge was held, I am now thrust into the public eye to defend my position. Yeah, that sucks when you don't see that coming. In the court of public opinion. Now my choice is to defer college, to write and play music, to finally introduce 10 years of hard work to a national audience while working consistently and intentionally on my own personal and professional integrity has led to an uproar of judgment and hatred unleashed on me, my band, and my family. I know Brock Turner was tried and rightfully convicted of sex assault. I realize the crime caused enormous pain for the victim. I don't condone, support, or sympathize with the offense or the offender. I was asked to provide this, blah, 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 blah. Sincerely, Leslie.
Yeah, her big problem in her statement was she editorialized about whether he was guilty or not. And it's like, dude, you're beyond that. Now state what you know about this guy and say what a great guy he was and all the interactions you've had, and then you're done with it. That's your role. And maybe it wasn't explained to her, and probably
I was just going to ask you that. Like, is that a lawyer's job, or whoever's asking her to do that? Is that their job?
Should have given her a little bit of parameter. I mean, again, though, nobody could envision this like being blasted out as it has been,
right,
when it was being done. So
yeah,
lawyers probably like Brock, who would be 5 or 6 good people to write a statement about you. He names this chick, and somebody reaches out to her, and oh yeah, okay, I'll do it.
And if you put it in
like, oh my God, he couldn't have done this, and she was so drunk anyway, and all this shit.
And you're looking at you got to remember and put in context to 2 months ago, like this is being played out in a courtroom, but it's not. No guilt has been decided. So at that point, she's defending what she believes, and probably in her mind honestly believes, is an innocent friend who once again got drunk as shit with another girl who was drunk as shit as a party. Like I can just see that playing out, how a person's mind would go there. If someone made some claim against you, Jay, and some lawyer contacted me and said, hey, I need you to do a character statement, I can only imagine what I would say to defend you. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be like, no, I've known Jay for many, many years. Everything I know about him says this.
But you wouldn't speak about like the facts of the case. You'd be like, look, everything I know about him says he wouldn't have done this. He couldn't have done this.
Yeah. But if you take into account that he's probably talked to her, he's not in jail, or maybe he was, but he's through family or him is probably talking to her going, oh, this is such bullshit. I mean, we were making out, we got a little carried away. I whispered,
I asked her,
do you want me to finger you? She said, yeah. And then, things got crazy, and I don't know if she passed out for a minute halfway through. Like, you could see him trying to justify and explain. He's doing that to the court people and to the police now. So why wouldn't he do that to his friend? And if she believes him and everything she's known about him says that, so she writes this thing up like it couldn't happen. He's such a good guy.
Yeah.
And then you fast forward, more details, more facts. He's found guilty, and now this goes blasting out on social media.
She's young. She's apologized. She deserves to, have a second chance.
And she didn't rape anyone.
No.
She's in a band trying to make her way in the world.
Supported the rape culture.
I guess. Oh, it's just brutal. What a
what
brutal
struck
story,
me about
man.
her statement, though, is like, she's 20, right? And she keeps saying, I've worked for 10 years. I've worked for 10 years. I've seen this for 10 years. Like, really? Like, you've been in college towns watching people drink for 10 years? Okay, maybe.
Yeah, there are some kids. I mean, the Jacksons were prime examples. Right. I mean, she could have been. I imagine she wouldn't have had much time to know Brock Turner if she was traveling the world, but
okay.
She was probably what she meant is she's been playing in bands for 10 years, and the last few she's seen the culture. But anyway, story doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. But Richard Simmons.
Oh, Dick Simmons.
Oh man, what's going on?
Or no Dick Simmons, maybe?
Ooh, yes. Well, Richard Simmons' publicist has denied that this is true. This is crap, he said, about a National Enquirer cover story on Dick Simmons that says he's transitioning into being a woman, which I can't say would be terribly surprising to anybody. I mean, he always had either a gay or a femi vibe to him.
Absolutely.
We know he cross dresses.
Absolutely.
But yeah, he's apparently, according to the Enquirer, gone through a secret sex change, and the National Enquirer now claims he's had a series of invasive surgeries. Is now going by the name Fiona. I know.
Fiona Simmons.
Yeah, the tabloid reported this 67-year-old has undergone breast implant surgery, hormone therapy over the course of 2 years. They also reported that he has seen a medical consultant about castration.
There are people who don't want to do other things. If you want ice cream, you don't go to a barbecue shop.
They also printed pictures of Simmons with long brunette hair, curves, makeup, and a fur coat on their front page. You can see that right there.
Oh boy, kind of looks like Tracy Ullman.
Ooh,
doesn't he?
Absolutely, a ghostly version.
Yeah,
of Tracy Ullman. But yeah, there's something Caitlyn-esque about it too.
Yeah.
Simmons has not made any public comments, but as I said, his publicist said this is crap. A friend told the publication, this is not just in drag. This is Richard dressed as a softly spoken woman named Fiona. He had a boob job. His breasts are like he had been taking hormones to make them grow. He's had huge mood swings too, which we attributed to hormone therapy. Another source told the Inquirer he's considering having a vagine built by doctors.
Oh, nice.
I didn't know they were lab building vagines now. I thought they
turn that thing inside out.
Yeah, wasn't that what we always heard? They take the penousal meat, do they lop off a portion of it and then
tuck it in? Yeah,
tuck it inside itself.
The vaginal canal.
But there's
anal,
yeah. They also said that Simmons never really felt comfortable being a man. Reports suggest he has left his home in the past few months as a woman. He's been enjoying girls' night out. He's enjoying ladies' night. They also claim he's been out in Buenos Aires, Venice, and Italy, all dressed as a woman.
See, this is why nobody's seen Dick Simmons out of the house in months.
Which would make sense. I mean, if he was fighting that, I would think Richard Simmons, though. Richard Simmons was in the 80s, was this like flamboyant,
you'd think
with short shorts, and
you'd think he'd be screaming this from the mountaintops.
Yeah, like what does he give a shit at his age? Who cares?
But if you're mentally ill enough to do that, who knows how that might affect you otherwise.
Fair enough.
Hey, are you moving and live far away from Radio for One Studios but want to support the Detroit Cast? Call Krista Jelski of Remax Suburban, and she will refer you to an excellent realtor in your area, anywhere in the country or even Canada if you plan on moving there after the election. Check out Krista's website at kristasellshouses.com or call her anytime at 586-918-0900 for more details.
I was reading a story last night about this bizarre condition, body identity integrity disorder, or xenomelia.
I'm not familiar.
Not familiar with it?
Xenomelia with an X?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I am familiar with that.
Yeah. It involves a desire to amputate a healthy limb.
God, it's like, it reminds me of, I don't know. What's that show? The
Botched?
Where people like will eat their hair and shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We've seen documentaries on that or specials on that.
Reasonable.
Yeah, the little girl who eats the carpet.
Yes.
Remember that one?
Yes.
Where she was eating like feet-long patches of carpet? Yeah, dude, the human mind is so weird. It's so weird what can be triggered and what you think's going on. They say it can also manifest itself with a desire to be paraplegic or blind. In all cases, sufferers feel their body is not complete in its current state. They exhibit no other psychiatric condition. They tend to keep their desire secret for fear of being judged. They don't want to be shamed.
Dude, I have heard about...
No. We don't want to shame anybody. We don't want to put anybody on the spot. If it looks funny, we go over and say,
The idea of wanting to be paraplegic. I have heard of that. God, you're right, man. You're like on razor's edge. You just tip one way and you're just loony.
Like, I've joked about this before. We've joked about this before. When talking about transgender, like, I can get behind gay. It's still funny to me. I'm sorry that the idea of a panus going into a man's anus
just seems like bad judgment.
It's comical. I love the gay. I do. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the gay. I want no ill will. It's just comical in a weird way to me. I don't want to deny anybody panus to the anus ever. Have your way, my man. But when you talk about transgender is where, and trying to lump that like, hey, we're on the same team. It's like, wait a minute. Whoa. This is where, like, I believe, and you and I may differ on this, but I believe like, you're attracted to who you're attracted to. And if that happens to be you're a guy and you're attracted to a guy, okay. And I know that, some people will disagree with that. That's just how I personally believe. Now, when you talk about the transgender thing, it's like that gets into a whole different argument.
I wonder if the gay doesn't like being wrapped up with that.
I've heard gay guys that are weirded out by this.
Yeah.
There has been on occasion like out where I've talked to a couple guys that are like, yeah, dude, it's fucking weird. I don't know that they would publicly say something like that because, you don't want people to be beat up because of the way they're living their lives and shit like that. You don't want people to be targets and victims and shamed for doing their thing. But I honestly look at it like, and the joke that I was referring to when we first started talking about the transgender thing was like, okay, so what if some guy just decides mentally that he wants to be a fucking Vietnam vet and wants to cut his legs off? Are you just going to cut his legs off? Because he really, really believes he's a former Vietnam vet. Would you look at that guy and go, he's just no, that's how he feels. We should cut his leg.
Who are we to say?
Who are you to say? No, you wouldn't. You'd
Yeah,
go,
what are the
dude.
ethics involved here?
Yeah, you'd go, man. Okay, seriously, we need to do some sort of therapy. You don't just start lopping off limbs, healthy limbs. That doesn't seem like the answer.
You're exactly right. That does seem parallel, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I know that's going to piss some people off. I understand that, but hear us out. I mean, you can see the parallels where it's like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. You're a guy. You've got a dick and balls. Now you want to cut those off and claim you're not. But sorry.
Yeah.
They are plagued by a feeling their body is not how it should be, suffering overwhelming distress in the process. We don't know a great deal about the extent of the problem. What we do know is that there's no cure other than maiming oneself. So there's that one. So you can either blind yourself. I don't know.
Put corks on all your forks, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be hard to eat with a cork on your fork, wouldn't it?
It would be.
At present, individuals with BIID often end up seeking amputation by means of extreme and dangerous method. The life threat often seems more bearable than the suffering.
Just imagine that.
Yeah.
You're so pulled by this notion that my arm has to get off.
It's just got to go.
It's just driving me crazy, the fact that this arm is here.
All this seeing is driving me crazy. How do I blind myself? I can't do it.
Oh, man. Torture.
Yeah, wasn't there that one girl that poured bleach in her eyes to blind herself?
I don't remember that.
I thought we did a story about that, where she's all bandaged up in court, and you're just like, what the fuck? There have been reports of individuals cooling a leg with ice to the point that when they admitted to a hospital, doctors had no choice but to cut it off. The only two known surgeries performed legally were actually in Scotland in the 90s. The surgeon ended up having to defend himself in front of an ethics committee, and a decision was taken to prevent any further operations. Those who don't self-amputate often end up going abroad and paying surgeons to operate illegally. The destinations of choices are said to be in Asia.
Does it say anything about whether that like satisfies the desire? Like once you get that one limb, or does it go, okay, now I got that one wrist cut off. Got this other damn wrist.
My guess is, I don't know.
Spinning out of control.
Dude.
It's not good enough.
Yeah. I mean,
I still have a left leg.
Yeah. I imagine that would not quench that. A U.S. study from 2005 showed that 52 sufferers recruited over a 6-month period, 27% attempted an amputation of those 52. A more recent German study of 21 individuals showed that 47% went abroad to get surgery. Virtually nothing is known about other countries. There's just no stats or research on it. It was originally researched as a psych condition. More recently has been more of an interest in neuroscience. The neuroscientific evidence is starting to indicate that sufferers have a dysfunction in the areas of the brain related to the representation of our bodies, which you could probably argue.
Some other individuals have.
There are promising alternatives that have not been tried in relation to the condition. One is called transcranial direct current stimulation. So they're just going to strap them down and fucking zap their heads.
Just find the spot in their brain and just keep zapping it.
Yeah, till you're fixed. What a miserable existence.
No, I still don't want my left leg. Better now? No, still don't want my left leg. That is, dude, thank God for relative health, yeah, I feel shitty some days, woke up with a headache today, but my God, man, it could be so much worse.
Yeah, well, we've made light, some could say, of the condition. Your mom was a nurse and ran us into some folks,
a rehab nurse, so she worked with a lot of head injured people.
Yeah, and so that's where the 4-4 story came, where a guy had a head injury,
motorcycle accident, I think. And once he recovered to the point where he could talk, he had a glitch in his head that everything he said was with using the word four. I don't know if it was numeric 4 or like 4 on a golf course or whatever, but it was 4 for 4 4. He'd have an entire conversation, voice inflection, everything, just 4 for 4 4 4 4 4 4
and think he was making perfect sense. That's just
waved to my mom. My mom would be like, "Oh, hi, Richard."
Do you respond with "Hi, Richard" or 4?
No,
I mean,
she just talked to him normally. I think that was the directive,
really,
from physicians.
That is so weird. We've heard of people like falling down, smacking their head, and all of a sudden they're a scientific genius. And you're like, what? Some guy's a math wizard overnight.
My God, the brain is weird.
It is so unknown and so weird. And there's a guy who briefly dated a French woman, but hadn't spoke the language in decades. And he's turned French now. After
got hit in the head by a 2x4, and now he's French.
After a devastating brain injury. Oh, oui, oui, madame. He thinks he's French now, and he only talks French, but he doesn't know the language.
An American dude.
Yeah. Well, no, he's an Italian guy or something like that. He's 50 years old. He's only known as JC. That's all that's known about him now. He speaks movie-like French. what they mean,
Le Pew like.
That's exactly what they mean. They're basically saying, have you listened to the Detroit cast? The languages that are spoke when Mike does a Mexican accent or something, caricature Japanese, very good. That's what this guy's doing in French. He's basically living life as that asshole. Oui, oui. Oh, bonjour, mes dear. So he speaks movie-like French and poses as a caricature of a French man, even opening his window every morning. Oh, no. Every morning he opens his window and screams to the neighborhood, bonjour! Imagine that every morning. First thing you do when you wake up, before that cup of coffee, shh, bonjour! He does it to passers. People are just walking by, and he's screaming bonjour at him out his window. Baffled doctors have now diagnosed him with what might be my favorite syndrome. I might suffer from a mild case of this.
All right.
Foreign language syndrome.
Well,
yes. There's very few of us in the world.
Seems like an aptly named syndrome, though.
It does, right?
A lot of these have random names to them, the name of the scientist who found it or something, but that seems aptly named.
Yeah, I feel like much like my Prader-Willis, which most people that have Prader-Willis, it's just like this insatiable appetite. They have to lock the fridge because your kid will just eat itself to death almost.
Literally.
Yeah. But I have a very, very mild case where I feel like sometimes I overeat, and so I've just attributed it. It's self-diagnosed Prader-Willis that I have. I'm self-diagnosing again, and I think I have foreign language syndrome. There's only like 60 of us in the world that have it, though. So it's very, as far as like rare things go, I'm part of a very, very elite class.
Awesome.
Yeah. Wouldn't you love to have that? That's fucking hilarious. JC,
does he otherwise function in society?
Yeah.
He's a functioning adult. He just speaks like a French movie actor.
Yeah, his French is full of inaccuracies. I mean, he's not even
just
close.
Making it up as he goes on.
Yes.
Oui, oui, bonjour, madame.
He speaks in a fast-paced and exaggerated intonation, a movie-like parody, and posing as a typical caricature of a French man. Oui, oui, bonjour. That is so weird. He speaks French with his bewildered relatives. With consultants, he spoke French even in front of the befuddled committee deciding on his pension scheme. He claims that he cannot speak French. He believes that he is thinking in French, and he longs to watch French movies, which he never watched before. He buys French food. He reads French magazines and French books, but he writes only in Italian. Like he can't.
It's a glitch.
There was when I was speaking to how small of a group we are that suffer from this affliction.
Yeah.
In February, a Chinese pensioner woke from a 2-week coma speaking perfect English, but not a word of her native tongue. Not a word. Li Ji had been unconscious for a fortnight.
Nice.
And after suffering
2 weeks.
Yeah. After suffering a stroke, when she finally awoke, she popped up and went, "Where am I? What is happening?" And they're like, "What is going on with her? Who the fuck is this?"
Had to bring in an interpreter.
They said doctors were left even more confused when it became clear Miss Ju had lost all ability to speak her native Chinese.
What the hell?
Elsewhere, Linda Pieria from Atlanta, Georgia, claims to have lost her typical American accent. Now she speaks with an array of twangs ranging from Scottish to Eastern European. Oh, is it possible to fake a syndrome like that? Just be an asshole?
I don't know.
I love it, though.
It's a great one. Hey, it's summertime, and you know what that means. Trips up north to enjoy barbecues, beers, and bikinis, or getting keys to cities. Do you want to travel up north in style? Hell, yes, you do. So get your soon-to-be sunburned self to Zott Ford at I-75 and exit 98 to take advantage of their super sizzling savings. Right now, and only at Zott Ford and Holly, you can lease a new 16 Ford Explorer for as low as $262 a month with only $1,000 out of pocket. Talking about the number one SUV in Detroit, the Ford Explorer, for just $262 a month. Check out their smoking hot deals and massive inventory at ZottFord.com.
Hey, I thought we established a very, very bright line, like
we typically do,
almost a year ago, that when it comes to Panuses, we're not cutting them off at all anymore.
Yeah, we did establish that.
I could have sworn I remembered that.
It's drastic. Relationship problems arise. You'll get over it. There's no need to maim a man.
Yeah.
I mean,
in the worst way possible.
Extreme.
I mean, you want to shave a head while someone's sleeping, give them a Hitler mustache, so they wake up and go into work the next day. They look like an asshole.
He's a real dick. You kick him in the balls. Okay. Don't cut his dick off.
Yeah. Well, a scorned wife slashed her husband's panus with a box cutter, almost severed it completely off. So it's just, imagine it hanging by a thread. After discovering he'd been cheating on her with her best friend. That is kind of a shitty thing to do. Let's be honest. That's not, I mean, if you're going to cheat or something.
But you know what? This too will pass. Like this will, it'll pass. It'll be better. You don't want to go to jail for cutting off a panus.
Yeah. The attack happened in the Thailand tourist spot of Pattaya. Very good. When the wife, fried chicken, sir. So she sells fried chicken. She lured her husband into a trap for carrying out the revenge. After the attack, the man known only as Samchai, poor Samchai, was found by paramedics in the middle of the street screaming in pain with an ice pack on his panus.
Oh, Samchai.
What's left of his panus. He was then rushed to the hospital for emergency surgery after his panus was found almost completely severed. So guess how this son of a bitch tricked him? She goes into the house and says, "Yes, I would really like to suck your dick."
Oh, that is dastardly.
Gets down on her knees and he's like, "Okay, sounded good." And so he just de-pantses.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Okay, here I go, going into suck dick." And then just pulls out a box cutter and goes, "Ah!"
Oh!
Ah!
It's the worst way possible.
I mean, he's probably hands on hips, perhaps hands behind head.
Maybe General Washington. We don't know.
We don't know. But here I go. Ready to suck this dick. And then pull a box cutter out of nowhere?
Insult to injury, Mike.
Wow, that's brutal. He began to scream, obviously, and blood's just squirting everywhere. And she actually called 911. I'll give her credit. She called 911 and rode in the ambulance with him. This poor Samchai.
Psycho.
I know. Samchai was screaming and blah, blah, blah. The woman went to the hospital, and the man is also said to be suffering from severe psychological trauma.
Sure.
Which
I reckon.
I don't know that that's going away anytime soon, sir.
It's unrecoverable.
Poor
that is
Samchai.
And I don't know that I would want a Thailand surgeon working on my severed panus.
Why?
Does it seem like the part of the world where they'd have the best surgeons reattaching seminal vesicles and so forth? I mean,
no.
what you want is a guarantee that you're going to get a rod again.
Yeah.
And that you're going to be able to perform, right?
So
you want a Thailand doctor doing that?
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, that's oof. I don't know that he had the time though to go book a flight to America with an ice pack.
You got to triage it. You got to do something. But
yeah,
I got to believe there's a specialist somewhere, probably in North America, who's going to do the best job of that.
Yeah. You see the picture of him?
I don't want to see a picture of Samchai.
Look at him sitting on the street corner, covered in blood,
wearing bikini briefs.
Yeah.
Look at that son of a bitch.
Well, 10 minutes earlier, the guy was preparing for the greatest beager of his existence. I mean, out of nowhere, out of the clear blue, his wife's like, "I want to suck at your dick."
Unquestionably, that guy had his hands behind his head.
You think so?
Yes. He's probably got a gold chain on, bikini briefs. He's got longer locks.
Yeah.
That guy had hands behind his head.
You're probably right. I never even paid that much
attention. No
attention.
idea what was coming.
He could have General Washingtoned it.
Sneak attack. I don't see that guy General Washington.
No?
Honest to God.
I don't know. Either way, it's a dirty trick. ladies. That is a dirty, dirty, dirty trick.
Why would you want to be a part of that? You're down there, you sever the panoose, it's squirting blood all over.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Hell hath no fury, my man. Hell hath no
I'll
fury.
remember that.
Why don't we take a quick timeout? I have no idea how long we've actually gone, but we'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back and we'll tell you about a gold medal that went missing and more details coming out on that wonderful Florida principal that was found with just a touch, a hint perhaps of child porn on his home computer. More details about that next.
The Detroit Cast continues now, bitches. Here's Mike and Jay.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Detroit Cast. Mike and Jay.
Oh, we had a chance to touch base with the boys.
Yes.
Still on their way.
Talked to Son of a Bitch and Kadog. Yeah, they're doing well.
Where did they stop? They stopped at the Night Owl Inn or something to eat, or
Yeah, they were eating at some cafe, some owl cafe or something.
But first they were stretching their legs.
Yeah.
And he was skipping rocks on Lake Gitchagumi.
Yeah. He's up there at Lake Superior just tossing rocks. He's a 5-year-old, dude.
Hold on, Kadog. I want to throw some rocks in the lake.
Good for him. He's in heaven right now. He's absolutely in heaven.
Yes,
I think both of them are. I can't get over Kadog in a suit. He went home specifically to get a suit.
God, the commitment of that fellow to
Yeah.
drive that length of time with E, shouldn't be overlooked.
No.
Should not be overlooked and underappreciated.
I'm telling you, I couldn't sit through a 3-hour football game with him. Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. I had to leave at halftime of one of the greatest football games in Michigan football history. Michigan Notre Dame, the first game under the lights. Had to leave. I had 4 tickets. I only used my seat, and then I was like, I guess I could take this retard. He was already there, partying at Drew's house. I was like, E, you want to go to the game? Yeah, hell yeah. And dude, I couldn't make it through to halftime with him. The idea of being in a car with Big E driving 9 hours north to spend the whole day into tomorrow together, basically. I mean,
would you trust his driving skills? Let's first handle that. I would not feel comfortable. Like, I wouldn't be able to just crawl in the back and go to sleep and trust my man behind the wheel.
No, too much on the line there.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen him back out of my driveway.
Yes. He puts his head out the window. He doesn't look over his right shoulder. He looks over his left with his head out the window.
He's freely admitted that, dude, I can't even back the trucks up at Zott Ford. I get scared. I'm going to bang something. Yeah, it's I don't know. It shows you how much dedication Kadog has.
It does indeed. It speaks volumes.
Yeah. So, yeah, but they're safe and sound, and they're up there. They're close. We got a guy that is a gold medal winner.
Okay.
American Olympian. He's lost his gold medals though. 2 of them were stolen from him.
Oh.
He won them in 92 in Barcelona.
Talk about irreplaceable.
Yeah. It says that he says they were stolen by thieves who broke into his car in Atlanta. Joe Jacoby. I mean, household name.
Yeah. What event?
He won the gold medal in the U.S. 2-man canoe slalom event in Spain. Which I was when I heard 2-man slalom canoe, I was thinking like, oh, don't tell me you're one of those champion sledders that goes whipping down the that thing. But no, he's like in one of those rapids.
I was picturing a deformed vagine.
Oh, no, you've got that wrong. No, he's not a champion at master of that canoe.
Gotcha.
No, he's actually on water with paddles in a little vest.
Look at that little vessel.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're just right up against your partner.
Yep.
Wow. It looks like a surfboard.
Yeah.
And these 2 guys are one's in the rear, one's in the front, and they are paddling furiously through gates on rapids.
Son of a bitch is a gold medal winner for that.
It looks difficult.
Yeah, I was going to say I'll give him that. I'll give him that as a real thing. There's a handful of sports, when you're talking about.
Don't you dare say anything about badminton.
Oh no, hell no. Badminton's one of my favorites. No, when you're talking about the whole the sledding one, when you go shoot the luge, I like the skeleton.
Really?
Where you're just like,
are you really calling into question the ability of those guys?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, it just seems like a free ride. It seems like it'd be fun. We've all kind of done that thing.
Definitely living on the edge though, when you're going 90 or whatever they do.
Yeah. I don't know how Olympic this is gonna piss some people off.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Mike.
I don't know.
Just step out there. You're gonna say curling?
No, God, no. I'm a huge fan of curling. No, I was thinking the whole archery and gun shooting thing.
Archery and gun shooting.
Yeah, I don't know why, but seeing those guys laying on their belly, just like and shooting the targets.
Are you talking about the biathlon where they?
Is that what it is? Maybe
they ski.
Oh yeah, I guess that counts. See, I told you I didn't want to go here. You made me go here. I hadn't. This
that's
wasn't
actually
well
a really
thought out.
cool event, man.
I agree. I forgot about the skiing part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have to just Slow your breathing down.
And take the shots.
Be calm.
Tink,
tink.
He said this guy says that his medal was inside the backpack that he had in his car. Well, dude, leaving your gold medals in your backpack in your car?
Those ought to be in a safe deposit box somewhere.
Witnesses say the guys had shirts covering their faces. They broke the rear passenger side window, and they took several items from the vehicle.
Oh, this wasn't like specifically like we know he has his gold medals in his backpack. It's just like, that dude's got a sweet CD player. I'm taking it.
Yeah, sounds like it. The thieves ended up throwing away most of the stuff into a nearby dumpster, but the gold medals are gone now. Many people online have asked the same question, like, dude, why would you leave your medals in the car? And he understands the risk, Mr. Jacoby does, but he believes it's an item and experience that should be shared.
Okay.
So he's
one of these guys who, back in 92, won 2 gold medals.
Barcelona, Spain.
Oh, you don't believe me? Let me run out to my car. Do you think he wears them like bar night?
Kind of sounds like he does, dude. This is right up there with Big E going, do you want a picture with me?
Yeah.
People going, who are you? He's like, I'm Big E.
Like a pro player wearing his own jersey.
Yes. For 2 decades, he's carried this shit around with him.
Come on.
Goes. Yeah.
Of course you're going to lose it or it's going to get stolen.
His embarrassed wife, Lisa, I'm assuming she's embarrassed, said he takes his medal with him to share with school children. And when he's doing speaking, he believes that the medals belong to America and not to him personally. And he wants to make sure that as many people as would like to have the ability to hold or wear the medal have that ability.
Okay.
So if that's truly what you believe, that they don't belong to you anyways, then
an American has them somewhere.
I mean, they're still loose in America, and maybe these young gentlemen that stole it will probably carry on your tradition.
What's the street value for a Barcelona gold medal? What is it? Dual canoeist?
They say they're they say they're not worth anything.
Okay.
But dude, no, a gold medal is worth something. If you put that online, somebody would be interested in buying.
Yeah, but you can't when it's stolen. So what is it really worth to these guys? Like, how do you?
Oh, you mean I thought you meant just like if
street?
Joe wanted to sell it on eBay or something.
No, it would depend on the medalist, though, right? Number one.
Sure. Yeah.
But if you're just like, shit, man, I got these 2 gold medals I found in a car. What do you really even get for that?
Yeah, I don't know.
$100?
Maybe.
Because the person who has them is going to know, well, this shit's stolen, and how can I move it or even advertise it?
Yeah. Yeah, well, you've seen when they chop a car down and it's worth, nothing. It's worth hundreds of dollars in parts, a couple $100. They'll get a couple $1,000s for a Ferrari or something. You can imagine what gold medal on the black market is worth. I don't know, man, but Jacoby says that piece of metal doesn't define me. Sounds like it does. It really is an opportunity for those people to have their own Olympic gold medal moment by returning the medal. Not to me, but to us. No questions asked. It can be done. There is something cool about holding an Olympic medal.
Have you?
Yeah. Yep. I had one around my neck, the silver medal from Tanith Belvin.
I'm sorry.
It's a beautiful medal that Tanith
I like Olympians who win gold. Trump. Oh, that's awesome. Was it like heavy as shit?
Yeah. It's bad. I have a picture of it of Tanith and I standing there, and I'm wearing her silver medal that they won for ice dancing. And
dancing on ice.
Yeah. But it is cool. There is something like, it's like, look at that thing. That's
the very medal that she won. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There was, so I kind of understand, like, dude, this guy won a gold medal at the Olympics.
The best in the world at canoeing with another guy.
Yes. As far as
I've canoed with other guys, and I'll say it's, I'm decent.
Yeah.
But man, that guy looked serious about it.
Do you think if we tried really hard, like really put our efforts into it, that you and I could place? I'm not saying win gold. Obviously, that's a little ridiculous, especially in our advanced age. Do you think we could place?
Well, what is the most I don't know, newest sport or something like that where it's not flooded with great athletes? Let's find that and try to place in it. It's sort of like I was talking to my niece who lives out in South Lyon right now, and she's in high school, and she just joined the lacrosse team, and it's a new sport out there. And she said like 2 high schools have to blend to even make a team.
Really?
But she said like colleges are so anxious to get women's lacrosse teams going.
Oh,
they're taking like anyone. She said like 9 of the 11 players on her team last year are playing in college.
Wow.
Like,
do they get rides? to college? for
Yeah,
that,
but
or-
they're smaller schools and shit, so it
Yeah.
wasn't anything like hugely impressive. But
Yeah.
they got a little bit of money. to
Dude,
go-
just being able to say I'm a college athlete,
Right.
though, it sounds awesome. I
That-
don't care
that is
what
awesome.
sport you're playing.
So my question is there a sport like that that's kind of new to the Olympics that you and I could pull off? We'd have to look at the list because there's some obscure shit.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd definitely be interested. I mean, that would be. I mean, I feel like a champion sometimes. But
Feel
to,
like a champion. You do?
well, not really, but I mean, there are moments when I feel like a champion. But that'd be awesome to be recognized globally for it. There's got to be people that have snuck into the Olympics under some, bullshit sport.
That's what I'm saying, man.
And maybe that gold medal, maybe that's worth something too, because it's so dumb.
Yeah, maybe there's only like 40 people in the world who really are into this.
Yeah.
Shit, man.
Beer pong or something at
Yeah.
the Olympics, and you're like, hell yeah, I dominated at it. It was awesome. Yeah. So, well, hopefully they get those medals back. You're probably right; they're not worth much, and
Probably not worth anything.
yeah.
Get a pawn shop to give you. I mean, they probably wouldn't take it. They probably, dude, it's clearly stolen. We're gonna get caught with it. I don't want to be caught with it.
Yeah. Well, you're thinking rationally, like someone would be, like some thief probably isn't even thinking like that though.
No, the thief wants money. I'm just saying, how do you? What's the fence for a freaking gold medal?
Yeah.
And I think you just suggested they're not really made of precious metal.
No, they're not.
So they're just plated with something.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not worth being melted down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance this guy gets them back.
Maybe. So just get chucked in a river somewhere. We've heard of people doing stuff like that, taking something.
Pendulum.
Jay, where's the pendulum?
Oh,
It's in the bottom of a river somewhere. Sorry.
the River Cam. I can pinpoint exactly where you'll find it if you want to look again. Peter the Porter.
Petra the Porta.
Yeah.
Remember the Florida elementary school principal we were talking about?
Oh, I do. The Principal.
Yes.
Not such a pal.
Yeah. Who looks exactly like he'd be busted for child porn. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He just does. He's
Central casting.
He's got the fat face, the bald head, the silver streaks, the glasses. I mean, it's just
A little bit too jolly.
yeah. It just a little bit too into kids.
Yeah.
Police have uncovered a rather monumental stash,
Quote unquote.
yes.
Monumental.
Of child porn in this principal's home. Ricky Shepard. It's
He
now.
goes by Ricky.
I mean, that right there, that should make you unqualified
It's a
to be
red
a
flag.
principal.
It's a red flag at least.
It's now emerged the Florida educator had a stash of 1,000 files of child porn on his computer.
Again, how many do you need?
Apparently, you need. That must be one of those where
And then it's like, okay,
if you can find them, they must be harder to find. And so
or
when
maybe
you can,
you
you,
stash them for trade because people out there
Yeah.
always want them.
oh
so-
yeah. The stockpile allegedly includes movies of boys being sexually abused and photos of his own students. Wow. Taken from the school's brochure. That's just creepy, man. The officers called Shepard absolutely demented. He was promoted to the role of principal at Spessard Holland Elementary School in Satellite Beach, Florida in July of last year, despite being reprimanded in 99 for inappropriate behavior with a 6-year-old, which is inexcusable in my opinion. I think if you're a principal and the allegations are this, or he was an educator at that point, but if these are the allegations on you, that disqualifies you without question. You're disqualified from being a principal at a school.
Completely agree. Aren't there enough people in line to get that job?
Of course,
I gotta
there
believe
are.
it's like a 25% raise at least from just a run-of-the-mill teacher.
Yeah, get yourself out of the classroom. You're not dealing with every shithead student now. You're kind of running the show.
Who doesn't want principal
Yeah.
under their name?
But yeah, he was reprimanded because of this inappropriate relationship with a 6-year-old boy. He bought the boy several gifts, talked to him about having him move into a bedroom in his house. He told the child, implying he wanted to take him home and he had a room set aside for him. And so they reviewed these allegations and they were like, he was ordered to not give him any more gifts and no more inappropriate comments, you. Now that that's out of the way, how would you like to be the head dick in charge, huh, Ricky? That's insane to me.
Yeah, that is.
I mean, just don't understand it. What are they thinking?
You know, it's cliche. Everybody always talks about the shit that goes down in Florida, but honestly,
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, the stories we see out of Florida. God, what is
Florida
going on?
and Ohio. for
You're
some
right,
reason.
you're
But,
right.
but Florida more than anything. Florida, I don't know if it's the drug thing, if it's the meth thing, but there's something in the water in Florida. I know it's kind of cliche almost to say now,
Yeah, it is.
but there's something there though that is, I don't know.
I agree with you. Hey, you got kiddies graduating from high school or college. You need the ultimate gift for your grad. You want to get the Parent of the Year award, then stroll your parental ass down to Zott Ford and Holly and get your snot-nosed kid a brand new Ford Focus SE for just $15,700. That's correct. Your life burden can drive one of the safest cars on the road. The all-new Ford Focus for just $15,700, or lease that beast as low as $139 per month. Preview their championship deals and massive inventory at ZottFord.com.
You know what might be the actual way to get ourselves that gold medal, Olympic gold?
How's that?
Identify as a woman.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like soon enough.
Well, we talked about like the retard joining the Special Olympics. If he were just like, God, just a smidge more retarded, he could just dominate.
He would.
Right?
He absolutely. Oh, there's no question.
Society would be like, oh yeah, he's retarded.
Yeah.
Okay, number one, they'd recognize it as that, and he'd be qualified for all this shit, and he'd probably kick ass and a lot of this stuff.
He would. Could you imagine a
He'd be
marathon
pulling ass left and right?
Dude, he'd be banging everything, and no one would care. They would
No.
just go, "Oh yeah, that's what he does." You know, Eric's known as the guy that bangs all the chicks. He gets all the girls. That'd just be the way it is.
All his girlfriends would kind of look the same, strangely.
Yeah,
enough,
he
but-
definitely has a type.
Yeah.
But anyway, but I think that soon enough that'll be a thing where it's like you could sneak in there under the guise of, yeah, I'm a chick. There's a this school in Alaska. They had the state championships for
Snow machines.
No, for what was the sport? It was running, like marathon running and shit. And some dude won it
In the dude category?
No.
No?
He's a chick.
Oh.
So Natafon Ice Wangyat, a male to female transgender athlete, became the first trans student to compete for a high school state championship last
And lo
week.
and behold, he won.
What do you know? He's a senior at Haynes High School in Alaska. He beat a number of female competitors. It's amazing. Congratulations to her. That's an amazing feat. To win a state championship?
Pissed would you be? You're number 2. Like, yeah, I'm second in the state, but I did lose to a dude.
Yeah. It's at the track and field meet in Anchorage. Her presence at the race was met with a little bit of criticism from fellow runners who were a little, bummed that, they lost to someone with a dick and balls, but still they technically have to call her. The group's president, the event was picketed by the group Alaska Family Action. They've got like a dozen people out there. It's Alaska. What are you going to do? The group's president said allowing him to compete was unfair for students to play on teams of the opposite sex disproportionately impacts female students who will lose spots on track, soccer, and volleyball teams to make room for male students who identify as female.
These shameless dudes that'll do that.
Yeah.
I
remember years ago, and
I
we've
just
talked
want to
about
win.
it.
I don't care. I just want to win.
Years ago, we used to talk about this kid who did that, who joined the lacrosse team, and I don't think it was a transgender issue. I think he fought for Title IX, claiming that he loved lacrosse, but they didn't have a male lacrosse team at his school, so he wanted to compete and go out for the women's team, and they were like, "Fuck." So they went to court, and all these parents were outraged. They were canceling games, like people refused to play him, and he fucking dominated. Oh, he owned these girls. He took to the field. They finally got him through, and he owned them.
Just wants to play lacrosse, the sport he loves.
What are you going to do?
He's got every right.
He's got every right, and he can't be discriminated against. That's key. They don't offer that sport for him.
That's awesome.
And so he went in and just kicked ass.
Now, was this dude in Alaska, was he fully cut? Or was he a pre-op?
Oh, he's pre-op for sure.
So
I
he's
can't.
like,
I don't even
just-
think you can cut a high school kid.
I identify as a female. They're like, okay.
Yeah, whatever. It's like that with that one chick. Remember we were watching that video and she's in her skirt walking out of the class and her dick is just flopping to and fro.
You could totally see the outline of his dick.
Obviously not wearing panties.
Yeah.
One of those girls.
Why would you? So what was it? Did they give his time as compared to the male winner? That would be interesting to see.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a really small story. It's a quick story. So I don't know.
To see how he would have competed against his own gender.
Yeah, probably get his ass handed to him.
right.
Who knows? But it's just funny that we're getting to that point
Oh, yeah.
because
We're there. We're fully there.
It's very hard to argue against, like, how I don't understand how you it's hard to make the argument against it. If you're gonna press for this to be like, no, that's how they identify, then you're gonna have a real problem. What are you gonna do when 3 guys are like, fuck it, I couldn't make my soccer team, but shit, I'll go out for the girls team and just kick ass?
Yeah.
I mean, what are you gonna do? Those are things that are gonna come up.
Yeah, you had an example the other day, or maybe E did. I forget what it was, but it was like, yeah, today I'm a woman, and then tomorrow I'm not, and it like totally fit. Do you remember what? I don't.
There's
some policy we were talking about. I was like, oh my god,
yeah,
you could do that.
Yes. Oh, that's part of the policy. It's how you identify in the moment.
Yeah,
There's a gender fluidity.
Yeah.
Is it where it can vary, and one day you're a lady, and the next you're a dude, and yeah, it was. I think we were talking about de Blasio and his policies in New York. You know, they've got those like $250,000 fines now.
Damn.
that they're given to businesses
Employers,
like who don't address customers in the right call them by the right what is the word? Gender
identify.
Well, whatever,
He,
you know what I'm
she,
talking.
whatever.
He, she, Z, G. There's a whole there's like 50 of them now that you should know.
We definitely should.
Yeah, it's crazy, but assessing fines to people and all kinds of shit. So yeah, he took out like a $250,000 campaign too, with like posters all over subways in New York,
PSA kind of thing.
Yeah, showing people. There's one of them. Look past pink and blue, and there's some dude there dressed as a chick.
Very androgynous, yes.
Yeah,
it's not hard to tell what he is.
Nope. Just fine, more power to him. But say it's basically just a campaign push to let people, absolutely piss and whiz whatever you want, use any bathroom you want, and it's no big deal. So taking out billboards now in New York City for that. Did you hear about these yoga sisters?
Yeah, I did hear about them. These twin chicks who are a little bit odd. Would they drive off a cliff most recently in their odd behavior?
Yeah. In Maui of all places. This sounds like a crazy. They sound like nut jobs. First off, I mean they're identical twins that do yoga, and there's something when you look at pictures, like in their eyes, they look kind of like what's going on there. They
scrambled.
They look a little weird, but they were like yoga instructors, and I guess when they were living in Florida, they had matching Porsches, and they were known as the Terrible Twins.
Yeah,
and I think they picked up and split town and just stiffed all their customers. Didn't pay anyone back and just kind of left, and then went to Utah and started
thing.
Yeah, started a business that went bankrupt immediately and fucked a bunch of people there, and then went to Hawaii and were trying to fire up a yoga business there, and reports were that they got into some sort of argument in their car. They were in a car together, and someone's like, "Yeah, I saw the passenger seat girl like yanking on the hair of the driver," and then all of a sudden the driver just like floored it, and then the car just turned left and boom into a cliff, like a rock face, and then over the edge of a cliff, and they're like, holy shit, it plunged like 200 feet down and crashed onto the beach. The passenger seat chick died immediately, and the other one had to be airlifted up. There's video of her being airlifted up as they got her out of there. They're charging her with murder.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know how that'll play out, but they now the press is digging to see.
The press loves this because they're just weirdo looking chicks, twins.
Yeah. Doing yoga. Yeah. Crazy story. I don't know, man. I think when you have reports of like, yeah, they were clearly fighting, and the passengers yanking on the one girl's hair, the driver's hair, like
she's got to have a good argument, like I lost control or something.
Yeah. I would think it wouldn't get to the level of murder. I mean, it'd be a suicide attempt too, to do that. But yeah, I guess we'll see how it plays out. Aaron Hernandez has got himself a new lawyer.
Yeah, the guy from the Casey Anthony trial.
Is that the
Jose
one that was?
Baez?
Jose Baez. Is that the one that was accused by that private eye of banging her for payment?
Yeah, the private dick. About I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago came out and said exactly that. Like, I worked on this case for a little bit as a PI, and oh, by the way, Baez was banging Anthony as payment because she didn't have the funds.
Yeah,
and so that sort of hit the news for a couple of days, and he quickly came out and tried to squash it.
He did, and I think Someone else did too.
Oh, she's gross, isn't she? Looking back on that story, man, they're showing her like pictures walking into court. Ugh.
As far as murderers go, like if you had to choose, like which murderer am I going to bang?
Yeah,
I mean,
Ted Bundy or Casey Anthony.
I mean, if we just went female murderers, but you know, in the bunch, there's only a handful. Well, there's probably more than a handful. I shouldn't say that. Casey Anthony, top mom, wasn't she? Top mom.
Yes, Nancy Grace.
That's not a bad deal, though. I mean, if you don't have the funds, and I don't know how many beaches it would take to have a lawyer. I mean, you might know the answer to that. How many beaches would it take to have a lawyer?
He did a lot of good work for her. So
yeah, he did get her off. So he's going to be heading up
Aaron Hernandez. Yeah. So he's already tried and convicted of the Odin Lloyd murder, which was the most recent one. Now he's being tried for a couple that
Boston.
Yeah, where he like after a nightclub out at night, guy spills a drink on him, and so he pulls up next to him at a light and blows him away.
Yeah.
Allegedly,
crazy.
Yeah. So there's that, and then the killing of a witness to that. Is that? I think it's two.
Yeah. You might be right. There's rumors circulating that there were more murders too. Like that's insane.
It's insane.
And then he got the
when you've got a good thing going, man. You're a friggin' NFL star.
Yeah.
You're murdering people, really?
Yeah, it doesn't compute at all. Yeah, street cred, it's a big deal. It doesn't make any sense to me, but there's some guys that just can't get out of life. You see it with rappers too.
Yeah.
There's certain rappers, like certain guys can't wait. They're dealt a shit hand early in life, and you think of Jay-Z as someone who's like, dude, I'm doing what I got to do to, I don't really have family that's taking care of things, and so you're selling drugs on the street just as a 12-year-old to make ends meet. But the moment they get some sort of success, they kind of get out of that, and then they quickly get out of it if they get real success.
Yeah.
And they get the fuck out of those neighborhoods and away from those people and that lifestyle, and they tend to be good members of society going forward. But then there are certain guys, that Chris Browns of the world, that it's just like, dude, you can't get out of your own way. Here you've got success. You've got every opportunity, money, everything you need to make yourself and your family a better life. And here you are still fucking around with these assholes.
Yep.
Like, what are you doing, dude? You can't carry 40 people with you. Ask MC Hammer. You can't carry him with you. Time to move along. See, Ellen DeGeneres is in some shit.
She is,
She's being sued
by T.T. Pierce. One might say Titty Pierce.
Yeah, that's pretty funny, man. Real estate agent T.T. Pierce is suing Ellen DeGeneres after she was mocked on the show back in February.
Yeah, so Ellen was doing one of these things like, "Oh, what's wrong with this sign?" And she puts it up on the screen, and it, T.T. Pierce.
Yeah, TITI.
Yeah, and it's a realtor sign. Call 1-800 whatever, and it's advertising a property. And ha 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 ha! Look at that name.
They said, unfortunately, Ellen mispronounced the pronunciation of her name and said it like it was Titi or Titi.
Oh,
I wonder how that happened. Titi claims that's the first time that's ever happened.
Never happened before.
No, that your last name would be Pierce, your first name would be TITI, and nobody along your travels has ever said Titty Pierce to you. Really? I don't believe that. She lives in Georgia. She's been subjected to constant ridicule. The phone's ringing. Her mobile phone, people are calling, leaving cruel answering machine messages, including during a funeral. She's on her way to a funeral and people were calling,
Oh, I believe she's probably getting calls.
Yeah. She's a real person with real feelings. She's a private, proud person, and she was humiliated on national TV, not once but twice. I guess they re-aired the episode. The realtor, Titty, called the show in February following the following month to inform the show staff the correct pronunciation of her name and that her number has not been blurred out. She also begged them, do not reference me on the show or on social media. And then it aired again, April 15th. And so, and her number could still be seen, which is kind of shitty on their part.
That is.
You would
think
you
you couldn't find it in a second, but
right. But on their end, you would think they would do their part to like, hey,
totally.
Her name, by the way, was taken from a Nigerian flower.
Oh,
yeah, Nigerian word meaning flower.
The titty flower.
Yeah, the tite. She is seeking unspecified monetary damages.
As much as I can get.
She claims her privacy was invaded, and she also wants them to stop airing the episode on television, the internet, or on social media.
Sounds like intentional infliction of emotional distress to me.
What do you think that's worth? I mean, what could you get me for that?
I don't know, dude.
If Mike Walters, if the name Mike Walters meant like Titty Pierce or something, and people were like, and you ran with that. I mean, what do you think that emotional stress is worth? I mean, is that like $1 million claim? Is that a $20,000 claim? No idea.
You probably show disruption in your business. You show.
Oh, I would.
Yeah, you show that hey, you've gone to therapists and
I'm not sleeping well anymore.
You definitely can't sleep.
I'm the butt of all jokes
there's
now.
Humiliation, anguish involved.
Severe.
Yeah, just how
my stress levels alone.
How generous a jury wants to be, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, I'd lay it on thick too. I mean, I'm going big.
That sounds like TT will as well.
Yeah. You'll have to teach me how to cry in case that ever happens.
I could.
You see this with this federal judge ruled Monday that this police chief in this small town in Louisiana violated the civil rights of a woman who says he tied her up with a belt and forced her into sex acts in his office.
Do we have an image of the woman?
No, we have an image of the guy's wife.
Okay.
Who did
so
this.
you can see whether he would be compelled to get away from that to do that.
Yeah. You want to see?
Guilty. Oh, shit. You're sure that's not his 13-year-old retarded son?
You know
look at that image.
You know the guy that's in all the commercials with Aaron Rodgers, the State Farm.
Sure.
What is that?
Yeah, Discount Double Check.
The Discount Double Check guy. That's the Packers fan. That's kind of fat with the afro-y hair.
I can't picture the guy. No.
Pull up State Farm Double Check ad and tell me if you don't see a slight resemblance to this fine-looking lady who had nothing to do with this. It's really piling on here, but we're just trying to establish whether or not it's possible that he cheated on this woman. Earl Theriot resigned from as the police chief in the Sorrento police chief there after admitting to lying to.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's a hint.
She looks just like him.
Okay. Yeah. He admitted to lying to the FBI about a sexual encounter with a woman who was 44. Now it's in a civil suit, and the judge, Shelley Dick, has ruled that the woman was legally incapable of consenting to sex with Theriot, given how drunk she was. The woman went out drinking with some friends. One of them dropped her off at a gas station.
That happens.
I hate when you guys used to do that to me when I'd get a little drunk and you guys would drop me off at a random gas station in town. That sucked because I would do the same thing. I would always fall asleep there and then it'd be weird.
She fell asleep at a gas station?
Shit, yeah.
Ugh.
Who wouldn't?
So this guy happens upon her.
The next day, Theriot, who's married, responds to a 911 call and found this trashed woman in the gas station's parking lot. He placed her in the front seat of his police vehicle, unhandcuffed, and he stops in front of her home like he's going to take her home. And then he's like, or we could go back to the station. And then he turns around and drives to the police station. And that's where their accounts diverge. The woman claims he used the threat of jail to coerce her into banging.
This guy, what an opportunist.
Yeah, she also.
You can just picture him like on the 5-minute drive, like, should I go here? Should I try? I mean, I might as well try.
Why not? A small town.
Shit-faced.
Yeah.
She might say yes. God.
Nobody wants to spend the night in jail.
Kind of awesomely random.
Yeah, I mean, you're in my car now. There's a couple options. We're going back to the precinct regardless, but you can either go in the cell or you can have 5 minutes in my office and then we'll take you home. She claims he took off her belt and restrained her with it. At the end of the day-long trial, the woman's civil lawsuit, Judge Dick put off a decision on whether Theriot owes the woman any monetary damages. Well, you don't want to pay her. Now you're making her a prostitute on top of it. That's kind of shitty too, isn't it? Hey, why would you do that? At the end of the day, then she's just a random hooker.
It's rubbing salt in the wound.
Absolutely. She doesn't deserve that. By all accounts, she's just got a drinking problem perhaps, but now don't make her a hooker. She didn't immediately rule from the bench on whether the town is liable for the woman's claims against it. She didn't say when she would issue a written ruling on the damages and liability and all that, but
Judge Dick.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. This
Officer
lady needs some new friends. You're right, man. Just getting dropped at a gas station, drunk off your ass.
Dude, I could see if me, you, and E were out and he was just drunk as shit. Couldn't you see just like, dude, you're done. You get out here. Not doing this. And just kick him out. Kadog's going to run into that tonight. Kadog's going to be met with that decision tonight when E is blathering on at 4 a.m, trying to spill his guts, hugging Kadog. Dude, talking about TCG's just not the same he was 14 years ago. He's like maturing and growing up and stuff.
Yeah. No, that's E's big problem right now. He's got his friends that are like moving on to adult things.
Yeah.
And he's grasping. I wonder if he'll be like, Kadog, you and me, man, this has been great. And we should do more of this. And
fuck Robin, Kadog. It's us now. We're seeing the world. We got a key to the city. We've been on road trips. You're the new TCG, Kadog. Kadog's just rolling his eyes. You know, he's had one beer like a responsible gentleman in his suit and tie.
Yeah.
And there's sloppy E.
They're sharing a room, aren't they?
God. Kadog was sawing logs all night. That's a new one I heard. It's a new one.
I forgot about that. My man hadn't heard the term sawing logs.
Yeah. Anyway.
He needs to be better trained.
Did you see this baby with Down syndrome?
Oh, look at that.
Look at the glasses on that poops.
Her little glasses.
These are my glasses.
She's a cutie pie.
Isn't she adorable?
Looks strangely familiar, but cute nevertheless.
Yeah. Courtney Baker took more than a year to write and mail a letter she'd been thinking about since she was pregnant with her daughter. That's Emerson Faith. Hi, I'm Emerson Faith.
She's cute.
Do you like my glasses? She's absolutely adorable. So this woman, apparently they knew that the kid was going to be born with disabilities.
With the Downs.
With the Downs. And so
doctor was like,
she ran into a Dr. Walters who would abort at the drop of a hat. You know, I'd be one of those doctors that's like, there might be a fifth finger there, but I can't see it. It might be time to terminate. Like that would just be that's just the way I would operate.
Not sure it has blonde hair and blue eyes.
Yeah. So I'm 50-50 on this one. If you want to terminate, we could get that knocked out in no time. So it's up to you. Get back to me as soon as you can. I've got a lot of terminations ahead of you. I can squeeze you in somewhere. So she ran into one of those doctors, and apparently she didn't like that. And she wrote this letter. It's gone hugely viral. People are going crazy for this. But dear doctor, a friend recently told me of one of her prenatal specialists, of when one of her specialists would see her child during her sonograms, and he would comment, "He's perfect." Once her son was born with Down syndrome, she visited that same doctor. He looked at her little boy and said, "I told you, he's perfect." Her story tore me apart. While I was so grateful for my friend's experience, it filled me with such sorrow because of what I should have had. I wish you would have been that doctor. I came to you, hot, during the most difficult time in my life. I was terrified, anxious, and in complete despair. I didn't know the truth yet about my baby, and that's what I desperately needed from you. But instead of support and encouragement, you suggested we terminate.
I think he should be ashamed of himself.
Oh.
I think he should go into the background.
I told you her name, and you asked us again if we understood. Let me be clear.
Just how annoying this is going to be to you.
When you talk about low quality of life, this is going to be what it's like with you with this child with Down syndrome. You suggested we reconsider. He's trying to talk her out.
I want you to understand how inconvenient this is going to be.
Yeah, she's going to be a handful.
I mean, this is not ideal.
Yeah, I can't stress it enough. I'm strongly recommending termination. He's leaving messages on her machine. Where are we at with the termination thing? I mean, I could stop by the house and we could knock this out. From that first visit, we dreaded our appointments. The most difficult time in my life was made nearly unbearable because you never told me the truth. My child was perfect. I'm not angry. I'm not bitter. I'm just really sad. I'm sad the tiny beating hearts you see every day don't fill you with a perpetual awe. I'm sad you were so wrong to say a baby with Down syndrome would decrease our quality of life, but I'm mostly sad you'll never have the privilege of knowing my daughter, Emerson. Yeah, I want to know Emerson. Look at it, poops.
Glasses.
Absolutely adorable kid. So my prayer is that no other mommy will have to go through what I did. And my prayer is when you see that next baby with Down syndrome lovingly tucked in her mother's womb, you will look at the mommy and see See me, then tell her the truth. Your child is perfect. Emmy is proof that children with special needs are worthy and can change the world. She's doing it right now.
Where was this posted? Like, how does this go viral?
Are
there ever these sorts of letters that are just sent to the doctor and just sent and then not posted on Facebook?
No. Well, this was sent to the Parker Miles Facebook page, which has been shared thousands of times. I'm not sure. I want to say that might be an advocacy.
Yeah, it probably is.
See if you can real quick look up Parker. Sorry, I wish we had a Tard or a Kadog here right now, but we don't. Parker Miles, Myles. Parker Miles Facebook page. My guess is it's
Parker Miles is on Facebook. I don't know who this is, dude.
Either way, it was sent to a Facebook page. So the only reason, yeah, that's a good point. The only reason you're doing that is so that it will go viral, knowing that.
I wonder, I hate to say that because it is it is.
There's nothing.
It's a cool story. But
it is a cool story.
But you do, when you see these things over and over,
kind
of get cynical. Why? I don't know.
No,
but it's just like you start to wonder, like, was this totally heartfelt or was it more?
Some of them you see and you go, okay, why does that have to be posted on Facebook? Every time you get into an argument with a girlfriend.
Like the Abby Glasses story.
Yeah,
that really came out of, in my opinion, a ridiculous Facebook post.
Right.
It was like, okay, go to the photographer, because remember the story was his little Proops needed the glasses, little pink glasses.
Mm-hmm.
And she went in for school picture and the photographer was like, oh, honey, you got to take off those glasses. So she takes them off and snaps the photo. Well, the mom was outraged when she saw the photo without Abby and her distinct pink glasses.
Yeah, Abby didn't even recognize herself. Where are my glasses?
Who's that, mommy? Where are my glasses?
Which is where that came from.
So instead of just going to the photographer, as parents do when they want to redo, like, I don't know, like 1 out of 10 parents will be like, yeah, my kid just looks dumb there.
Yeah, his hair looks stupid.
Yeah, I don't like it. He's got a dumb look on his face. I'd like to go to the redo. Instead of just doing that and being like, yeah, and this time, please leave her glasses on. Oh my God, we got to put it on Facebook and make it this huge social issue.
Yeah. And as if which would be fine if the guy said, I'm not
you and your retard girl.
I'm not photographing that retard with its glasses on. Fuck that. And the mom hears that and goes, you won't believe it. Like,
that wasn't the case, though. They just redid it.
But then it gets into a whole social argument and display about what a monster this photographer is. How dare, as if there was some ill intent behind that request. So
it's probably like, you know what? In practice,
I think it had to do with flashing or something off the lenses.
Totally. That was the explanation, which sounds reasonable to me. I don't know.
And something that would easily be redone. I think they just went in and redid the photos after the thing went for free. Yeah, they fixed it and it was fine for the yearbook. But there are certain ones that go viral. Like anytime someone has an argument with their boyfriend or girlfriend, you're just like, oh, fuck off. Can you not keep anything offline? Right. Really, we need to hear. Yeah, we all get in arguments with people. We don't need to share it with the world.
Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah, it seems obnoxious and it seems attention seeking. Now, the one I don't have a problem with is when law enforcement isn't properly looking after that kid that's got a fucking handprint bruise on its face.
Yeah, there's a good one. You're right.
And the family goes, this is bullshit, and sends this out. Here's our child that's been beaten by this babysitter. And they send that out, and there's true outrage for something that people should be outraged about.
And they actually got action on it.
And they did, yeah. But you're right.
But this one is like there's not a specific action that's wanted. It's just wanted. You want
sympathy.
People, sympathy, and for people to emotionally react on your side, right?
Right.
And I don't know, like me personally, I just wouldn't publicly do something like that. So I have a hard time understanding why someone would. Like everybody needs to see this letter that I wrote to this doctor.
Yeah.
Everyone must see this.
Is it about being a hero on some small level too? Like, don't forget, against doctor's orders.
Yes,
I
kept
saved
this child
this
and love
beautiful
her.
human.
Yeah.
And look how wonderful it is.
Although more than that, maybe it's a statement on, hey, people, if you're in doubt on whether to abort or not, here's a great story. So it's a commercial for that too.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Just
Isn't
getting
it
cynical, I think, with all this social media.
Yeah, social media is a tough one. Everybody wants their 1 minute of fame, 15 minutes of fame. People love that. People love being paid attention to. Everyone thinks that whatever they're dealing with is the biggest thing on the planet. No matter what it is, it's the biggest thing on the planet, and all people want is to be heard. Most times when people come at you and are like,
Gross.
fuck you, you piece of shit, blah, blah. If you just take the time to go, hey, look, I'm sorry, or here's what I'm like, you can help get through a lot of that shit by just acknowledging people. I do it from time to time. People write me and go, fuck you, you asshole. How dare you? Blah, blah, blah. It happens quite frequently, as a matter of fact. People will message me about some comment I made on this show. And I do my best to write people back and try to explain sometimes. Sometimes I don't, but I get it. I get it. People just want to be heard, and okay, not the end of the world. Anyway,
we do have some email, Mike.
What do we got?
Well, before we get to email proper,
what's the T minus before the
well, it's 9 a.m. real time. I got to believe they're there. I think it was an 11:30 reception.
Yeah.
So if they're smart, they're taking a quick nap, little power nap. But
Kadog already did.
He is not going to take a nap.
No.
He's going to go see the city.
Yeah. I don't blame him. Son of a
Around.
bitch. Dude, I've never met anyone without coke being involved in the mix that can just like go all day and all night into the next day. Like that's like
it's part of the retardation.
Yeah, it must be.
Wave, let's see. Big Scott chimes in on Town Club soda, which I think we discussed on yesterday's show.
Yes.
The fact that my dad was all into this cheap ass Town Club that you'd get, like we got it at a storefront, Town Club. You walk in and the floor was just beset with bottles everywhere.
I believe you said Chatham. Was it Chatham that you would find that at?
No, Chatham was the grocery store. That was actually right by your house. Chatham Square was 11 Mile and Middle Belt.
Yeah, I thought you said that you guys would get the town.
No, we'd get Chatham brand shit all the time, like Chatham brand
mac
hot dogs
and cheese.
Yeah, that shit. But Town Club was actually like at, I don't know, 9 and Telegraph or some shit. It was a storefront, like kind of a party store looking facade. And you'd go in there and there was just bottles everywhere, grouped, and like grapefruit sodas here, grape is over here, cola, there was probably 50 different flavors, and you could just fill your little packet with whatever. You could get one of each if you wanted. So you could totally personalize it, and they're just cheap and gross. So here's my man Big Scott chiming in.
Hello, Jay and Mike and Jay. So after Tuesday's show and hearing about how Jay was deprived of, the normal amenities of a childhood, like Coke and Sprite and name brand things, I decided to stop and grab myself a delicious bottle of Town Club because I've never tried it before, and give it my review of it right here. So after looking at all the fucking disgusting varieties, I picked Town Club Orange.
Oh,
so here we go. I only get one shot at this.
Bad one?
Nice metal cap. Here we go. Tastes like fucking shit.
I want to try it now. I don't
for that
remember
review, Big Scott.
Wow.
Yeah,
I have it.
Orange. I don't have a great memory. I don't like orange pop anyway.
No,
I find it really overly syrupy and shit.
It's very much so. I like Orange Crush sometimes. I could be in the mood for that, but the Grape Crush too is not bad. But yeah, I would think if you're going off brand, I wouldn't have started with orange. That's a ballsy move.
Yeah, maybe just start with a cola or something.
Yeah,
something more tame. Okay, here's one. Speaks for itself.
Hi, Mrs. Fady. Hi. Good morning.
Ooh, good morning, Mrs. Fady.
Oh. Hi, Mrs. Fady.
Here's a little
you're
different
listening now.
Take on the Mrs. Fady.
That's awesome.
Hi, Mrs. Fady. Without E here, I mean, he hates that.
Yeah.
You people out there have no idea the rage that comes over his face.
With rage. Yeah.
For some reason, he's talked to me off the air like, dude, that's not cool, man.
Yeah.
It's not cool.
The holy thing he didn't like. Anything family related. I don't know if he hates his family or if he hates us, whatever it is. But
Combination thereof.
Yeah. Whatever it is, it's crashed into this thing where he just hates the Mrs. Fady thing. So if you guys could be generous and stop doing the hi Mrs. Fady stuff.
Yeah, please don't do that. That really, really bothers
him. So if we could knock that off, that'd be great. Thank you.
Badfinger writes in, hello, lovers. When I was 13, I was the first of all my friends to have a chance to finger a girl. Unfortunately,
Do you want me to finger you?
I wonder if that occurred to Badfinger to ask. Unfortunately, the girl wasn't exactly the cream of the crop. She was a bit large, but at 13, I didn't really care.
Yeah,
because I was feeling some tit and going knuckle deep for the first time. When the deed was done, I proudly came to my friends, gross, and said the obligatory, smell my finger, which several of them did. But it didn't take long for my pride to turn into horror. Evidently, this particular big girl had a not so pleasant odor that had now attached itself to my finger, and my friends were now making fun of me. They, in fact, quickly came up with a new nickname for me that would stick with me for the next several years. Badfinger. Yes, Badfinger is what I was called for the next 4 years. These fucking dicks were relentless about calling me that for years, even though I had moved on to many other far lighter and hotter girls. It never mattered. I was now Badfinger. Well, of course. It doesn't matter.
This is bullshit, by the way. This is Jay complaining about, oh, yeah, I'm the big dick guy. Oh, yeah, sucks. The first guy to finger a vagine at 13, and he's going to complain about the nickname he got from it? Nah. Sorry, sir. Yeah. Badfinger, my man. You're all right.
Live with it.
Yeah.
Mike writes in.
He still hasn't fingered a vagine. He's 38.
You're probably right. Let's see. Mike writes in, Smug, Chaz, and the Tart. I just returned home to Detroit from New Mexico, Albuquerque, the nation's largest city, to be correct. So it's out of the country.
Wow.
While I was there, me and the wife went to the top of the Sandia Mountain, the crest, as those people call it. The view is stunning. You can see Arizona. So that would be in the States.
Wow. You can see across the border?
Totally. 13,000 feet up, man. But the best sight by far was a mystical sight. It was not a fidget in the wild, but just as rare. An Indian, if you will. Feather, not dot. Okay. I'm sorry, feather, not dot. It was sporting a Redskins t-shirt. Her car was also draped out in Redskins swag. Trying to get my wife to play a decoy for my racist, immature, and plain mean pick for a podcast was comical, but I thought, Walters, if anyone would enjoy this token, football is bigger than racism. Check it out. Check out said Indian down in the left corner. So what Mike did
was awesome.
He went, honey, yeah, go just stand on that wall that our Indian friends are sitting on. Just stand, I don't know, about 15 feet away, and I'll act like I'm taking a picture of you looking out over it. And then there we captured our friend in the Redskins. Wow,
that's spectacular.
That's a big girl, and that is no doubt what looks to be a Native American woman wearing a Redskins t-shirt.
1 little, 2 little, 3 little, Yeah, no doubt about it. We're proudly displaying a Redskins shirt too. I mean, that thing almost doesn't fit anymore, and it's proudly on display. She can't give it up. She's put on another 20 pounds since she bought that shirt, but she's not giving it up. Fuck that. I'm wearing it. I'm going. It's my skins.
Mike continues, I actually lived abroad in New Mexico for 3 years before coming back home. So if you guys need a New Mexico expert, I can be your guy. Enjoy the pick. The least I can do for all my free's worth. I do use the link and donate when possible. Good luck with the PCAs. It's the Podcast Awards, of course. And at the time of writing, congrats on the key, unless the Tart fucks that up somehow. Thank you, Mike. And he did mention the link, Amazon link, please. Everybody use it, DetroitCast.com. It's a great way to donate to the show. Shop as you normally do on Amazon, and we get a bit of a kickback.
Yeah.
Amazon.
I don't think we're looking for an international correspondent at this time. If we did, we'd probably start with Canada. We've got good representation in Canada.
But, stories have arisen out of New Mexico, and being a neighboring country as it is, kind of enveloped in our country. It's an interesting spot, and we speak enough Spanish to be able to get through an interview too. But if we need some specifics as to local culture, that sort of thing, we may have to lean on Mike. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm just saying, don't expect the phone to ring right now, as we're not currently advertising a need for. But we'll keep that in our Rolodex. Yeah. We'll definitely put your email on file. Thank you for that. That picture is tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. We'll save the rest for tomorrow, Mike. No, we won't. We won't be here tomorrow. Save it for Monday. There you go. And on Monday, we should have a glorious. Oh my God, I can't wait to hear. Key here to display or cannot wait to hear how it went. Yeah, I know. We'll get all the details come our next show. So have a great weekend, everybody. It's the last couple of days here to vote for the Podcast Awards, podcastawards.com. And of course, you can find the Detroit Cast in the comedy category. And with that, we will bid you adieu. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next week.